Good morning, everyone. It's Willow Wise Woman, intuitive empath and psychic. Welcome to another edition of the Crone Chronicles. So, I'm videotaping this and we'll upload it later. I'm walking the dogs for the first time in months. I can't remember. It's been a long time. And this eclipse season has been a doozy. I didn't think it would be too overwhelming for me, and for the most part it wasn't, but those deep emotional wells do end up showing up when you least expect them to. So the reason why I started the Crone Chronicles, more so than anything, was for myself, to kind of create a video log of, how I was embracing the next phase of my life, the crone stage. And, for the most part, I've really embraced it. I have zero issues about, getting older and aging and becoming the crone. In fact, I welcomed it. For me and most practicing witches, we understand that with every phase of life becomes more wisdom. So, but there are still things that, I want to grow older gracefully, not fast forward it. And I want to feel good doing it. And so I've deliberately worn my hair down because the Leo rising in me loves to have the energy of the lioness with her. And Leos like to be seen, and of course for their mane. And I thought, let's harness that energy this morning. So I started the last few days especially just really kind of going, well, I've been doing it for months really, since October of last year, but especially it heightened. Come on, Jax. So I have a little old dog. I call him my old man Jackson. And Lucy with me too. And Jackson is 15 and Lucy is 8. And boy, Jax gets around pretty good, little old man. And so anyway, oh boy, this is not a professional video by any means, because now I get to pick up dog poop, so don't mind me. Usually within the first couple of minutes of taking these dogs for a walk, Lucy especially ends up going to the bathroom once or twice, even if we're going on a short walk. They get so excited. It's really good for their digestive system. So anyway, back to us. It's the first time I wore this weighted vest in months. Now it's just 10 pounds. No, or is it 12? It's 12 pounds. I didn't put in the weights to make it 20. I'm pretty fatigued. So anywhooser, let's get back to the crone. In October it will be 2 years that I entered the official stage of the crone. I was very excited about it. In fact, I knew going into that, oh, good grief. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe Lucy was trying to poop again. Oh, sorry, Jax. Sorry, old man. So I got into, I kind of knew intuitively 2 years ago in October that That would probably be the grand finale. For all you women, you understand what I mean without me saying. I mean, do we have to talk about all of it? So, I just had an instinct, and it was perfect timing. I was holding a retreat, and I just knew. I just thought, geez, Goddess, thank you. Perfect timing. I'm on this beautiful space of land that I absolutely love. About 45 minutes from my hometown, and it's just gorgeous. And I try to get there yearly, but you know, you try to hold a retreat, and you know, sometimes you know, you get people who say, oh boy, I really need to do that. I need to be around women. I need to, you know, go inward, take time for me. And you get a lot of yeses, but the follow through is where the problem falls. We've been conditioned to put everybody first. And fortunate for me, I learned early on in my late 20s and early 30s that I had to carve out a little time for me and my sanity. So, I have been doing retreats for years. Started in my 20s, in fact. And some of those retreats, quote unquote, were day retreats, because that's all I could do at the time. Had too many kids, too many responsibilities, and financially didn't always have the time or the money to do it. So, it was always a challenge, but I did try to make it a priority. And I started that, you know, back in the 90s. I was having children and opened up my first business. And, you know, being introduced to the more spiritual path, I had not quite fully embraced it, but I was being led there at the time. This would have been back, you know, in the 96, 97, 98 era. Between my second and third child, I had always kind of been interested in like horoscopes and psychics and self-help and all those things. So that was kind of the beginning stages of my journey. And I was probably about 28 or 29. This is why I'm doing the video, right? Seriously. It's hard to remember factually, right? I didn't start this 35 years ago in this journey, or 30 years ago, or how many ever years ago it's been now. Going, oh geez, I better write this shit down. And of course my generation, you know, I didn't keep shit. Like, I have clients that have like kept diaries for decades. And I thought, my gosh, how wonderful. But I wrote things down, said, oh, I'm going to keep this, and then throw it away. And so that's where the Book of Shadows really helps. If you're practicing the craft, your Book of Shadows is not only your book of spells, but your story. It's your lineage. And so, you know, that book of spells is kind of tell your own story. And so I work with that book of spells quite a bit. And, you know, my Virgo squirrel brain wants to do 10,000 projects, and I have to remind myself that I have to do one thing at a time. I can't do 10 things at a time. So I'm now just trying to become adaptable to doing what I can when I can, and learning to pace myself. I'll be 54 soon, and my mind and my brain still says I'm 28, but my body hasn't got the memo. So back to the eclipse energy. It was October of last year that the eclipse was going on, where I started the Crone Chronicles after a full year of frustration. Oh, here we go again. Lucy's second poop. So, well, I guess that gives me a break, doesn't it? I can tell I haven't walked in a while. Although I was trying to run, and I was doing pretty good at it. But all last week, my body said no. So, last October, I started the Crone Chronicles because out of sheer frustration, 2 years prior to that, I really tried to figure out how to get my body to respond better. And I've worked really hard to try to stay as organic and natural when possible. I don't like to take a lot of medications if I can avoid it. I'm not on any prescriptions. Now, there was a period of time, and honestly, if I wanted it, I could probably still get it. Period of time that, that's been 6 or 7 years ago, during perimenopause, that I can take, it's called meloxicam, and that's like a heavy duty, almost ibuprofen for inflammation, because I had a lot of inflammation in the body, and I didn't want to take it daily. So I talked to the rheumatorious or whatever arthritis doctor and said, look, can I take this as needed? And she was like, oh, absolutely. And she had recommended if I have a flare-up where I feel very, sore and achy and really inflamed, maybe take it for 7 to 10 days, and then every other day, and then every 3 days, and eventually just go off of it until another, inflamed area starts to happen again. So that's what I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. Technically, it's a prescription. I can't remember the last time I took it. I can tell you, I can't even remember. It's been at least a year, probably longer, since I've even had the prescription filled. In fact, the doctor has retired as of last year, and I've not even bothered to get a new one. So that kind of tells you how I very rarely take any kind of medication. Technically, it is prescribed. It's like an ibuprofen, anti-inflammatory. But other than that, nothing. So, I spent 2 years going the traditional doctor's way, because although I've done a lot of organic and homeopathic remedies, nothing was helping. And to be honest with you, when you're trying to figure out where everything's at, you need blood work. Well, you have to have a professional who can give you the blood work. So after 2 years of absolute failures, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to, our traditional doctors, I just threw up my hands. This is not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. Excuse that. Sorry. I'm walking in the neighborhood. Um, I haven't trusted the medical professionals since the 1980s, okay? I mean, I was starting to do research, I guess it was between 89 and 90-ish, somewhere around there. And I've been really on that holistic journey since then. So today is my son's birthday, my firstborn. He's 35. I can't believe I have a 35-year-old. And he's my lion heart, right? And he's a Leo sun, and I'm a Leo rising. And I just 35 years ago, I was an 18-year-old kid, almost 19, but technically 18 when I had him. And kind of looking back, it's interesting, this eclipse, that we had last week is leading up to this day. Like, it wasn't planned, right? I didn't plan, on my birthday, I'll post a video. On my son's birthday, rather. It just kind of organically happened. Because after spending the last year, roughly, I guess, what is this? Are we in August? So the last 6 to 7 months, after spending 6 or 7 months, just, throwing my hands up at the medical professionals, and I posted about what I was doing from about December, January of this, last year into this year, doing some aromatherapies and magical practices to try to acclimate my own body. And, to some degree that's worked. I've made lots of oils with castor oil and jojoba oils and mixtures and tinctures, and that has helped. It's helped with my skin and some of my pain relief. But I will tell you, and I gave up pop, like I gave up soda, I did all these things, and I didn't lose 1 pound, not one, and that infuriated me. I've always kind of been the person of the they sayers, quote unquote. They say, well, who the hell are they, right? You can look, whether it's Google, internet, doctors, whatever, and you get one question, and you ask one question, you get like 35 different answers. So, I just had to kind of start going by my own intuition, and then trying very hard and being deliberate and mindful, not to insert what I want as, well, that's what my body says, right? Because what I want to do is, do whatever, and my body just aligns. Well, sometimes that doesn't work, right? We can have wishful thinking. But anyway, so I am incorporating magical practices, holistic practices. Come on, Jackson, come on. They just want to stop and sniff. To aid in my health journey. And so, finally, about a month ago, I found like an alternative doctor. Now, I didn't know this doctor has been in this town for like 5-6 years. It's a medical center, and they do like red light therapy, and they do like the frequency therapies. They do like the whatever that is, where you get in the chamber, and I don't know what it's called, but where you like are like where you don't feel like your body weight. I can't remember what the hell that stuff's called, but anyway, doesn't matter because I don't do that. But anyway, what I like about this is that they do like integrative work, meaning, they have a nurse practitioner and a lab that does all your blood work. And they're looking for more than just your average blood work. And they're looking at your numbers and they're saying, this is the real baseline of what we need to look at. And, I thought, I'll go through perimenopause. And when I hit menopause, maybe I have a few hot flashes, that'd be it. And then my body will just acclimate. That's a big no. In the last year, or close to that, maybe even somewhere's around there, it's just increasingly gotten harder. Within 2 years, I went from, a weight that I was happy with to gaining 20 pounds to 30 pounds to now 40 pounds. Now, I lost 60 pounds of that in 2021. And between 2021 and 2022, and I started in the end of 2020, but it must have been summertime of 2023. So it's just been right at about 3 years. I started gaining. And that was right before I hit post-menopause. So the last year of perimenopause, I started gaining weight. And I gained about 20 pounds. And for, 2023, 2024, and most of 2025, I managed to just keep it at that 20 pounds. It might be 25 and then 17, but within a 25 pound range, I'd say 15 to 25 pounds, I would go up and down, up and down. But I really couldn't kickstart my body. Like, it didn't matter what program I did. So that led me to the regular doctors in 2024, 2025. And of course, you're perimenopause. And when you stop your period, then you're post-menopause. And you have to stop your period for 1 full year. And so in 2024, I had officially finished my period. So in 2025, I was considered post-menopause. And so I thought, okay, great. Things are going to start getting better. I've surpassed the menopause. I'm a year post. It's got to get better, right? And so, of course, it didn't. I went back to the traditional doctors. Oh yeah, you're fine. They won't give me anything. Nothing is covered. Nothing. I have really good insurance. Still nothing is covered. So, they want to give you the GLP-1, which is fine, great, if that's what you want to do. But for me, I want that to be my absolute last option, because it scares me. That's the only reason. Trust me, in my head, I think, forget it. Let's just do it. Come on, Jax. We're almost there. My old man's getting tired, so we're slowing down a little bit. We're almost there, buddy. Just about a block and a half to go, buddy. So, you lose your train of thought too in postmenopause. Squirrel brain. Anyway, so, they don't do anything. They just want to give you all these prescription drugs and ridiculous diets with no nutritional really background. They don't want to give you, anything that will help support your body. They just want to keep drugging you. So, and I told the story before, after I tried it their way, and they thought I was having a stroke or heart attack, because they put me on shit that they had no business putting me on. They don't listen. They never listen. Like, I'm super sensitive, but they don't listen. So, that I had to wait all the way through February to get my final testing. They wanted me to go to ears, nose, and throat because I had a lot of sinus issues. It's just insane. So, needless to say, fast forward to April of this year. Get my results. I've tried all the things that I know what to do, and I'm just feeling worse. I've gained another 20 pounds, and it doesn't matter. I can eat 1,200 calories, 1,500 calories, 1,800 calories, 2,000 calories, and the scale will fluctuate 5 to 6 pounds. And that's it. And I'm tired. I haven't slept in over 2 years. Seriously, like, I'm not being dramatic. Like, I nap. I don't really sleep. I can fall asleep, and I usually get 2 to 4 hours at a time. Most of the time it's 2. Sometimes I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. Oh gosh, I got a rock in my shoe. Hold on, guys. Great. Sometimes I wake up after 2 hours and I get something to drink. I go back to sleep, and I'm up another 2 hours. Sometimes it's 4 hours. But my average is, over the course of, let's say, 8 or 10 hours, that sleep is interrupted a minimum of 3 times. And then sometimes it's, just wake up, take a drink, go back to bed. Wake up, drink, eat something because my brain isn't braining and I'm eating for no fucking reason. And go back to bed. Does not help the weight gain at all. Or I wake up and I'm up for 2 or 3, 4 hours, and then I go back to sleep for an hour or 2. And this has been going on for 2 years. And that will make you lose your mind, literally. Literally. And I hurt all the time. It's like, I know my story isn't new for anybody. I'm just sharing it because I'm trying to use magical, mystical, wise woman, crone, sage advice and teachings alongside holistic, for me, traditional doctors that work for me, paths. That, so that, if it helps somebody, if it doesn't, oh well. This on again, kind of doing this for myself. Keeps me accountable a little bit too. But anyway, in April, I went to a chiropractor after going to a massage therapist for months, which would alleviate, but really didn't do much more than that. So they had recommended a chiropractor. And that started the momentum of me starting to feel aligned for the first time. So the chiropractor has helped tremendously, not only in, surprisingly enough, the reset of my brain. When I get adjusted, it slows down my brain. I have been going now long enough to where I just go once a week right now. And what I find interesting is when I first started, that first day or two, oh my God, I was so relaxed and tired, but also really sore and tender. So not in a bad way, but like, when you get a massage, you're sore and tender. Same thing. And you're kind of achy because your body has been relieved of that pressure that it's not accustomed to having relief from. So, it took a while to adjust. And now Now I'm just going once a week. And what I found that is when I would get adjusted, that calming sense would last a day or two at most. And then as I went, and it's like a tier system. You start at 3 days a week, then you go to 2, then you go to 1, and then you find your maintenance. For some people, the maintenance is once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, once a month, whatever. I'm not there yet. I've got a few months to go still. Come on, Jax, we're almost home. I know you're tired, old man. So, we're almost there. Come on. I'm practically dragging the old man. Come on. We're almost there. Hold on. Come on. We're going. We're home. Oh. Hello. I dropped you. Anyway, so that has been very helpful. So I have found that now being on once a week, just a couple weeks now, not very long, that for the most part, not completely, but for almost the full week, my mind and my brain and my body, for the most part, holds its alignment. Now, it's not perfect yet, and that's why I'm not done. Like, this will be for another 2 or 3 months now that I will, come on, Jax, we're home. 2 or 3 months now that I will actually go, okay, hold on, guys. I'm going to undo him. Well, no, I can't, because you know what? This little man, he'll run. I better not do that. So anyway, I have a couple months for that still. So we'll see. But I do feel better for it. But that kind of kick-started me looking into, yet again, trying to find more holistic care. And there's a couple of, I don't know if, natural doctors. I used to go to one, and he retired in like 2020, something like that. So, and he was a lifesaver. So I'm so sad that he's retired, but so from 2020-ish through now, I haven't found a holistic doctor. And oh gosh, sorry. Bear with me, guys. And there's a one here in town, and I had to put you down. You'll be fine. Okay. There's one here in town, but they do like blood analysis, and I really wanted more blood work, not just like my white blood and how my blood worked inside, that kind of stuff. I wanted more than that. So anyway, Google is always listening. And so eventually there was a pop-up that happened about a Medi Center here. And I thought, okay, I'll call and ask about it, because to be honest with you, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so expensive that like I'm not going to be able to do it. Okay. Hang on, guys. I gotta take this vest off. I did like 30 minutes. Okay. Maybe. Okay, now that my hair's all goofy, it's fine. Anyway, so I went ahead and just, I called, I went and checked it out. Long story short, I've always kind of been the kind of person that says, you know what, and I'm sorry if you hear the fans going, but I can't. Like, I'm too hot. So I'll have to listen to this later, and hopefully it isn't too noisy. I will try to go outside here in a minute, so that way you guys won't hear the fan completely. But I just got in the house. My hair is crazy. It's fine. Whatever. And so, what was I saying? See, squirrel brain. So I went And what I liked about this center was that they were willing to not only do alternative treatments. Oh, that was a little close. It's fine. But they were also willing to look at like my blood work and really kind of get to down to the nitty gritty, which I appreciated because I have a family member who is a nurse practitioner, and it made me feel good that I would get like results. And by having those results, I could have her look over them as well, just to make sure, because I am always like suspicious of everybody. My suspicious mind, if you will. So I'm like, you know what? I just want to make sure that what they're saying is not a bunch of woo-woo stuff. So I had the blood work done. And what was so amazing to me is my vitamin D was ridiculously low. Now, you can see that I'm tan, but I live in the pool. And I have lived in the sun from April on because we were out of the country in April. So I was on the beach in April to the first part of May. And then every chance I could get, I was in the sun or the pool since then. And so I was just shocked that my vitamin D was low because now I don't drink milk, but you know, I have cheese and, you know, not a lot of cheese, but I have some cheese and I have eggs and anyway, but for the amount of sun that I'm exposed to, I was utterly shocked that my vitamin D was low. And that was a very surprising reality for me. And of course, now I'm at home. Now they're going to bark because somebody's walking. They're such jerks. Anyway, you know, obviously I have no estrogen, no testosterone, and no wonder I feel like absolute shit. Like my blood work is good for the most part as far as traditional things are, but there's some areas that that I have deficiencies in. I have deficiency in vitamin D. I obviously have no testosterone. I have no estrogen. And my thyroid is a little low. Nothing major, and that's really no surprise being that I'm postmenopause, obviously. So, like, some of these things aren't super surprising. But my blood work also shows how active I am. And I don't know the term. My niece was like, well, this kind of shows you like what kind of, like how your cardiovascular is kind of thing, and how much like activity you are based on this like blood work. And she's like, you're like an athlete. And I'm like, yeah, so please tell me, if that's the case, why am I overweight? And why am I considered obese? Because that doesn't add up. And I said, that test there should be a red flag to anybody, you know. You know, but they just want to throw pills at you. So I started this red light therapy. I started the like the Hertz. It's like little shocks, but it's through Hertz vibration and frequency therapy. And then I do a foot detox, which cleans all the major organs in your body and resets your body as well. So I do that. Now I'll try anything for 90 days, and it's not cheap. It's not horribly expensive, but it isn't cheap. I have some vitamins and you know, I don't know what they call them, you know, but vitamins that I'm taking to help with the vitamin D and amino acids and things like that. So I have like, and I'm very my digestion, like I'm really resistant. Like, so, oh, that was the other thing that was really shocking, that I was low of protein. Are you kidding me? Like, I take in over 100 grams of protein a day on average, anywhere from 90 to 120 grams of protein a day. And I was deficient. So something ain't working. Something ain't doing right. So my body is not absorbing nutrition and it's going right through me. So it just, everything is resistant, resistant, resistant. So they have to fix that absorption problem, right? Because I'm in the sun all the time. Why am I not absorbing vitamin D? So I have a absorption problem. So they're taking a holistic approach to that with the red light therapy, the Hertz frequency, and the detox. Now, it was recommended that I do twice a week, but to be honest with you, I just don't have the budget. So I'm working on that, and, fingers crossed, after the end of September, I can upgrade. But I've decided to do the first 90 days. If I can make it faster, I'll upgrade before the first 90 days is done. So that's a possibility. I just don't know. But typically, I'll do 90 days for anything. But because I couldn't do what they recommended, I will probably do 2 90 days. The first 90 days at what I could do, and the second 90 days is what they recommend. So it would be double the therapy. So I would do red light therapy twice a week, the detox twice a week, the Hertz frequency twice a week, which will help my body align faster and better. But here's the kicker, the reason why I did this video. So it's my son's birthday. He's 35. I was 18 when I had him. And just in reflection to that, the eclipse and all that kind of energy where we kind of go back and say, where have we been? What do we got to let go of? This and this and that, blah, blah, blah. I was an 18-year-old mother. I went from maiden to mother at the age of 18. So I was stepping into the mother role today, 35 years ago. And I would have never dreamed that my life is where it is today. Like, I would have never been able to imagine it being this, ever. And I've always been kind of a dreamer, but never in a million years would I have imagined what it's become. So whether you're a maiden, whether you're a mother, or whether you're a crone, life is a journey, and it will surprise you in the most magical, wonderful ways. And so today, on my son's 35th birthday, I'm kind of reflecting back and going, my gosh, I would have never imagined 35 years later that I'd be here on the internet. There was no such thing then. Making a video about being an old crone and all the magical things it's doing for me and what I'm learning. But I'm also realizing, oh my gosh, now I'm going from mother to crone. And the wisdom that comes with that is sometimes a hard learned wisdom. It's through experience. And I want to live a long, healthy life. So I'm willing to do some uncomfortable things to get there. And I want to move forward. So I'm doing some magical practices as well, which I've shown through videos on the Crone Chronicles, through the Facebook page and everything else. But like today, I made my protein coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, y'all. But they have like this, I don't know. You try the Javi, and then there's other cleaner ones, like if you have coffee. Well, I've already bought it. I'm not going to change it now. Once it's done in the next couple of days, I might give that up just because it's probably not the best form. But anyway, regardless, it's 40 grams of protein. And what I did with it is I also did some magical stirring, and I added some cinnamon. So I used the coffee as a kickstarter for my internal body, and added cinnamon to help burn off the calories. So I'm doing some magical practices and intentionality within that process to align my body to release some of the weight that I'm uncomfortable with. I don't like my weight. And I don't feel good in the weight that I'm at. I will feel better with 40 pounds off, because I ache and I hurt and I don't feel comfortable in my clothing. So, and I've always had a body image issue. I'm almost 54 years old and that's still a thing. So some things we just don't grow out of. Maybe next year, maybe in 6 months, maybe in one day, I'll grow out of it. Who knows? But for right now, it's still a thing. But I want to feel good. And I want to, I'm on the other side here, and I want to live my life for me. I don't want to live my life on anybody else. I don't, my kids are grown. I've raised them. Like, I did all the things. I've done all the responsible things. And now I want to do things that make me feel good. And although in my 20s and 30s and 40s, I was lucky enough to do retreats and class work, little by little, when I was raising the children, I still had to focus on other people, like whether it's my children or my spouse or my career, to make sure that, I was doing the responsible thing. Jackson, enough. That old man, he is just senile sometimes. Anyway, so, now it's my turn. And I want to do what I want to do, and I don't want to be responsible to anybody else but myself. Maybe my husband. I mean, obviously, I want to be part of my life with my children and my kids and my grandkids and stuff, but I'm more focused on, like, what makes me happy. Like, if I want to sleep, I should be able to sleep. If I want to get up and do nothing, I want to get up and do nothing. Like, I don't want to have to be responsible for anybody else's BS anymore. And I'm not doing that. Like, I get 52, and I'm like, I'm done. Like, as soon as our youngest graduated, and it was kind of coming up to that, obviously, but once she graduated, I'm like, that's it, I'm done. She graduated last year, and I'm like, that's it. I'm just completely done being responsible and accountable to anybody else other than me and my husband. And, I'll help, I'll do whatever I can, but I'm not going to feel obligated to anybody, because I have to preserve my energy for the life that I, quite frankly, have earned. So I've spent the last couple of years really just kind of in that energy, probably the last 3 or 4 years, 3 years in that energy, because I kind of knew this was coming. Like, I knew that I was getting to a place where, like, I just wanted to focus solely, like, on what me and my husband want to do in our lives, not around anybody else. So that's the energy that's been happening for about 3 years. And so this year I've just been focusing on, like, being more organic. Now listen, y'all, I ain't perfect. So anybody that's new to watching my videos, there's some things you need to know. First of all, I'm a Gen X old broad, okay? I'm not very tech savvy. I'm not really good at this because I didn't grow up on it, but I'm doing the best I can, so bear with me. I have a potty mouth. And I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful of that. I guess for a couple of reasons. I just am. Maybe it's the old, conservative background that my parents raised me in, and I just, maybe I just want to be more user friendly. So if it offends other people, but I will eventually, I'm sure I'll drop the F-bomb multiple times if I'm having a moment. So anyway, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I don't know everything. I may be an empath. I may be psychic. But let me tell you something. I don't know shit about my own life. That's the gift that I don't get. I don't get to know what's happening psychically in my own life. Now, do I have indicators? Absolutely. Do I have instinct and intuition about my own personal life? Yes. Do I dream? Do I have prophesizing dreams. I do. In fact, I had one the other day. I'm not ready to talk about it. But I always tell my husband my dreams because then I have a witness. So, this is semi-documented that I had a dream was Saturday. So today's Monday, so Saturday. And when I have dreams like that, I have to pay attention. It's not crystal clear what it meant, but I have a little idea. So we'll see. We'll see. And if and when that comes to pass, I might would share it with you. But anyway, but for the most part, my life is just like your life. Like I don't have like this map that just shows me everything that's going to happen in my life. However, I do use practical magic every day to navigate my life. And I create and manifest the life I desire. And I've been able to do that successfully for many years. Why my body doesn't react the way I want it to is probably a combination of a couple of things. One, I don't use magical practices for weight loss, like strategically every single day. So that's something that I'm going to try to do. And I don't know if it's a lesson that I've just not been able to let go of. I honestly, I don't know the answers to that. But I do know that I'm grateful for my body because it's healthy and it's strong. And even though it's a little overweight, I have my health. And I don't look too shabby for a 54-year-old broad. So I'm okay. And, I just want to embrace being happy. And for the most part, I am. That image problem is a very, very old wound, probably lifetimes of issues there that is layered work. So I've learned to have a little bit of grace for myself when it comes to that. So, but I'm excited to see. Okay, squirrel. I was on a tangent. So I'm trying to keep this as logical as I can. But with the reflection, see, not perfect, how. I'm an 80s chick. I smoke. I don't want to quit. I'm careful. I guess it's just because society gives you so much shit about it. It's just ridiculous, right? But I smoke. I don't want to quit smoking. I know it's not good for me. But I don't drink. I don't do any of the stuff. I don't do drugs. I very rarely drink. I mean, occasionally I'll have a foo-foo drink. So I like to smoke. It's the one thing I enjoy the most. I think about quitting, but my heart ain't in it, and I don't want to. And so, I go through, seasons with smoking. I smoke more, and then less, and then more and less. And now I'm trying to be more mindful, maybe smoke a little less. But I enjoy it, and that's just all there is to it. So, there's that. I don't smoke in my home. Most people don't know I smoke unless they know me personally really well. But I also don't want that to be like a dirty little secret. Like, I've never been like secretive about it. I just don't smoke a lot on camera. But yeah, that's just the way it is. But looking back at everything, I finally found a clinic that will give me HRT. And so today it comes. Today, because it's custom made. It's designed just for what your blood work, your body, your age, all your genetics is for you. So I start that today. It comes today. And I have a lot of anxiety and expectations because I want to sleep for one, and I want to feel better for two, because I can eat better and work out more if I'm sleeping better. If I don't have hot flashes 24/7, if my brain isn't scattered from here to Chemung and back. So this video is just kind of, I want to kind of document how that's going to look. So, and then transitioning some of my caffeinated drinks to a more cleaner drink and seeing how that works. I don't have it yet, so I'll wait till the next video for that. But sometime this week, my goal is today, I will, also introduce another platform and at least get that started, because I just want to focus more on this journey, bringing wisdom, my experience, and my challenges, not only just to record it for myself. Maybe my kids will get a kick out of it when I'm senile and gone, and maybe it'll help someone along the way. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day. Know that you're not the only one that goes through challenges, and we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we're trying to figure out all the answers. And I'm living my life the best way I know how, and I'm going to do the things that I want to do that makes my life joyful and happy and fulfilling. And sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes I'm sad and aggravated and frustrated. But I do believe that we can create our own happiness. And sometimes that's 1 minute at a time. Sometimes it's 1 day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 week or month at a time. 1 season at a time. So I've dedicated this year to being pink and happy and doing traveling, and that's what I've been doing. I've traveled some this year. I'm getting ready to travel again, and just living my life the way that I feel good about living it for me, and learning to give myself grace, not to feel guilty or obligated to other people. And that's a hardcore lesson. That's something that I'm not good at, but I'm learning. So in this season, I'm learning to just live for me, share my wisdom where I can, but also giving myself grace and not feeling obligated to others, and just doing what brings me joy. And what brings me joy is traveling and spending time with my husband and my children and my grandkids, but mostly doing things that me and my husband want to do on the daily. And not necessarily being held accountable to anybody else. Just kind of doing whatever if we just want to sit here and do nothing, that's what I want to do. If we want to hop on that motorcycle and take a trip, let's go. If we want to hop in the car and go down the B road to the C road to the D road, let's do it. Wherever it leads us. If we want to, go to a park and hike or whatever, I just want our plans to be our plans, whether they're planned or they're spontaneous. And I don't want to be kind of boxed into that routine of what motherhood and fatherhood brings when you're raising children. Now we're kind of breaking free from that, and we have a little bit more freedom to do more things. So that's what I'm focusing on this year and beyond, to kind of doing more things that are focused, more, adventures for us and what we want to do without the obligatory things that you have as a parent. So, I'll be back on here with some updates as I go, especially once I start the HRT. How does it feel? What are the pros and cons? The scale has not moved one bit. And part of that is because I don't sleep. I don't get to the gym as much as I need to. And my eating habits are poor because I tend to eat in the middle of the night. Before my brain even catches up, I'm eating stupid shit. And that's infuriating. And So if I can just sleep, and get to the gym, I'm hoping that, from what I understand, some of the HRT should help that in the middle of the night crap, because I've never been one to do that. In the last probably 6 months, it's just been insane. Like, it's crazy. I never had that before. So this is something kind of new to me. So there goes Jackson barking at somebody walking again. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for some updates. I'll bring you along. If you want to watch it, great. Comment. I would love to hear your feedback. Share, reshare, comment, ask questions. The little lion rising sign in me, the Leo, always appreciates that. And in the meantime, blessed be.